for roughly 20-ish years, almost 20-ish years, I've done a lot of animation. I would say the first 10 were kind of off and on, and then the second 10 were a little bit more seriously. Um, this is just kind of giving some background. So I started anywhere from I started with MS Paint, doing like an eye blink kind of animation or a hand animation or something like that. Moved on to Macromedia Flash that my uncle gave me who taught animation classes. My dad had seen my stuff and talked to him and he sent a CD with it. I actually found the CD. I was curious if I still had it and I do. So that was kind of fun. Um then I went on to some free programs, I think, like Pencil 2D, and then I coughed up about 1,000 or so dollars for TV Paint. It's good. I mean, it is good. It is good for the standard edition. Ah, gosh, yeah. No, but the TV Paint's good, okay? I just don't like to spend a lot of money in general, so that was a big spend. It's amazing I got a car or went to school or did other things with life. But anyways, and after that, I kind of did a lot more hand animation as far as like traditional light table printer paper on a makeshift pegboard type of situation. And I really, really enjoyed that a lot. So I kind of was doing that plus some cleanup and occasional animation digitally with a drawing tablet. First with a regular tablet and then with a pen display one. Um, Especially when I was working on my animated series. So that's kind of a little bit of background. So I haven't done it for as much recently. Part of that was due to some eye issues, and part of that, which are better now. And part of that was due to really falling in love with drawing comics and doing a lot more art because as weird as it might sound, when I was doing a lot of animation, sometimes 11 hours a day, which is probably not a good idea, I didn't really draw. And I know that sounds weird. It kind of reminds me actually, I am a professional musician. I went to school for music, and yet a lot of times I'll tell people I wish I had more time to practice when I was in school, which again sounds weird because I was playing almost all the time, but it was usually in classes, lessons, teaching lessons, rehearsals, performance, whatever. And it wasn't just like my own practice time. And so it's kind of similar with the art and the animation. I animated and I drew the characters a lot, but I didn't really do a lot of artwork, at least not as much as I did before when I was just doing animation more lightly. Um, so now I'm not doing as much animation, but I'm doing a lot more art. Way more art than I think I've ever done in my life, which has been really, really fun and trying out new mediums and stuff. Um, but as I've been doing it, and as I've been just kind of like dabbling in animation every so often, um, it's made me realize how it's affected my artwork. And I was considering like titling this like how it's made it better or something. I mean, I think it's better, but I think it's just made it different. So here are a few of the ways that I've noticed with that. Um, do I do numbers? Sure, number one. Um, I think a lot more about the character in motion. Like, how are they moving? Where did they move to? If they had their arm up in this panel, is it down in this panel or is it still up because they were surprised by something? So I'm very much thinking about the character in motion. What is where's the weight distributed? Where are they going somewhere? Do they have any momentum going to them? Like, how does it function? How does it work? What is its function? Um, so I think a lot about that. What goes in hand with that is that I'm also thinking about arcs. So arcs in animation are very important. Um, to me, they help get that more fluid motion as well as just keep things for lack of a better sense, anatomical. For example, if you have a hand moving, or let's say an elbow, because I think this demonstrates it a little bit better. If the arm is moving, the elbow pivot point is going to be moving kind of in that arc. Pivot points, your body is kind of full of them, which also contributes to that. So the elbow is not just going to suddenly like jar around or anything. It's going to look a little bit unnatural. It's going to be moving in that arc pattern. Um, Now, even if you do break a joint, which is something that you can also do in animation, where like, for lack of a better term, it gets it more loose. So, if you've ever paused like a show or something and there's just really weird frame or whatever that doesn't look right, it could, or like an arm is like totally facing the wrong direction or something, it could be a use of breaking the joint, which can sometimes give more fluidity to the animation as well. Um, but yeah, so arcs are really nice to work with, from anything from that pivot point, like the elbow to, well, if you think about the ball bounce animation, it is all about arcs. Where is it going faster? Where is it going slower? How is the form being maintained? Is there squash and stretch to it? Yeah, so arcs, body in motion type of things. The other thing that I've certainly noticed is I absolutely draw faster. I guess when you are working at 24 frames per second, and you want to get something done that day, you learn to draw pretty fast, and part of that is having a fairly good understanding of anatomy. That if if it's not correct, then your mother will correct it for you because she's a medical person. I definitely showed her quite a few keyframes, and got her input on it, which was very, very, very helpful. Even if I got a little feisty sometimes. Um, but it definitely made me make decisions that were a lot faster, a lot more definite, and not kind of obsess over it. It's like it's there and it's done and we move forward with it. I have no idea how many frames I drew a day, but like I said, I got pretty good at it. So nowadays, even with my artwork, I tend to, at the very least, come up with the idea, the thumbnail, the composition, layout, the colors, and I just kind of make those decisions. I don't really hesitate with them or anything. Um, and part of that too might also be a mental aspect, and I do this with all things, and I'm not sure if this originated with animation, but I tend to think about things a whole lot before I do them. So that might also be a part too. The other thing, which I thought was kind of a funny thing, I'm not really afraid of drawing hands, like at all. I think when you have animated hands and digits and fingers and stuff like that, and you've drawn them hundreds, thousands, how many times or whatever, they just aren't really scary anymore. It's just kind of it almost feels like every other part of the drawing. It's like, "Oh, yeah, a hand." And if I'm not entirely sure what it looks like, I look at a reference just like I would for any other thing. So yeah, I'm not afraid of hands anymore. I'm not Was I ever afraid of hands? I would guess so, because I definitely have old drawings where, like, the arms were, like, always behind the back or something of the character, or they were, like, little mushroom fists or something. I did a lot of mushroom fists, so I don't know, maybe I was afraid of hands, but I definitely am not now. So, I think that's about it. I'm a very firm believer in, I'm gonna use a fancy word, bear with me, interdisciplinary studies, um, which is just fancily saying doing different things and how they affect each other. Um, I think about, just like how animation has affected my art. I'm sure art affected my animation before. Music probably affects it in some way as far as like practice habits and just kind of thinking about things in different ways. So I think it can be very interesting, and maybe as something to consider doing is looking at what different things do you do in your life that maybe kind of overlap, or that you have learned different things from by doing them. So, yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing as far as art moving forward. Who knows if I will be doing a lot more animation or if I'll stick doing art. I really like comics. I really like comics, but I'm kind of happy with where it is, at least for right now, and it's been fun to see those little traces of animation in the artwork that I do now and be like, "Oh, I think I know what that's from." So, I hope you have a lovely day. I hope this was somewhat insightful or interesting or at the very least relaxing to listen to. And yeah, that's all I've got for now.